What's in your sunscreen? This is the time to look at your label because the state is about to ban some chemicals in the name of nature. We'll have that for you next on Nightside. From Stormy Daniels to stopping the Russian probe, President Trump's new personal lawyer covered it all in 24 hours.
Nobody reads the fine print, but the next time you buy sunscreen, you'll want to take a good look at the ingredients. But first, an entire family packs up and takes off with 2 endangered children. I'm Katie McCall.
And I'm Carolina Leid. Hillsborough deputies are pleading for you to help them find them. I want you to really give us your full attention here. This is who deputies are looking for. Talia and Mayar and their parents, Rami Al-Subi and Amira Al-Hamdi. Investigators think all 4 of them might be making their way out of the country and heading back to Saudi Arabia. Nightside Sarah Rosario has spent tonight looking into this family's background.
Yeah, and Sarah, along the way, more questions than answers right now, right?
Yeah, that's right, guys. Here's what I know for sure. Talia, she is 7 months old, and Meyer is 5 years old. And deputies worry that they could be in danger after their father, Rami, was charged with domestic abuse. On Sunday, he was accused of beating and choking his wife, Amira. Now, on Monday, deputies went to check on Amira while her husband was still in jail and were told she cooperated. But then investigators say they noticed that the older child was acting in a way that was very concerning to them. When deputies went back for a follow-up, they say Amira stopped cooperating altogether. So that prompted them to call Child Protective Services. They got a court order, all in an effort to try to speak with those children. Now, while all of that was going on, Rami, he bonds out of jail, and when deputies come back to talk to the kids, the entire family is gone. Now deputies are worried that the kids have been taken back to Saudi Arabia, where their parents are originally from.
Sarah, is there any way to stop this family from leaving if they have not left already?
Well, deputies, they have made a valiant effort to try to stop them. They've contacted federal authorities, they've contacted the airport, bus stations, all of that. We've told that they've been searching all day long, and so far, this family is nowhere to be seen.
Wow.
Carolina.
Trump's newest lawyer and former New York City Mayor Rudy Giuliani set off a whirlwind 24 hours after making some unusual and really unexpected comments to the press, from foreign policy to alleged hush money. Last night, Rudy Giuliani, during an interview on Fox News with Sean Hannity, revealed that President Trump reimbursed his lawyer, Michael Cohen, the money used to silence adult film star Stormy Daniels.
He didn't know about the specifics of it, as far as I know. But he did know about the general arrangement that Michael would take care of things like this.
Then overnight, Giuliani elaborated the payment plan to the New York Times, saying that Cohen was paid $35,000 a month out of Trump's personal family account. This morning, President Trump confirmed the repayment on Twitter. He denied the affair, and he also emphasized that because the money did not come from campaign funds, there could be no campaign finance violation. And this afternoon, White House Press Secretary Sarah Sanders explained that President Trump didn't know at the time that his lawyer, Michael Cohen, paid adult film star Stormy Daniels $130,000, but that he eventually learned.
This was information.
And Carolina, also interesting, Giuliani spoke about the Russia probe as well.
Oh, absolutely. And he told CBS News, Katie, that he wants the Justice Department to close this thing down. That was his quote. And he also called it a ridiculous investigation.
I guess ridiculous depends on who you ask, right?
In this case, yes.
Okay, here are some of the day's other big stories.
Red light cameras aren't going anywhere. The Florida Supreme Court decided today they are legal, and that means citations will keep on coming.
A dispute at a Nashville mall ends with one person shot and another in handcuffs. Tonight, investigators think there's no one else in danger.
The Washington Post puts Charlie Rose on blast. Their report claims the former CBS This Morning anchor had a wider pattern of sexual harassment than anyone thought. Rose says the report is inaccurate. Get ready for the ride of your life. Fast and Furious Supercharged is ready to roll at Universal Studios.
You couldn't be any closer to this other than being on the movie set when we're shooting it.
I'm with meteorologist Bobby Deskins, and it's going to be a hot week.
Yes.
And so what's the UV index looking like?
Well, a lot of folks head out to the beach this weekend. The UV index is about 10 to 11. This whole scale goes out. I drew it out to 10, but 11 plus is basically the highest range. And we're right there, that 10 to 11 plus. We're going to keep it through Friday into Saturday, but we are going to see a few more clouds. Most of the time, even in the moderate here, you should be wearing about 15 SPF as you go out. Kids, we suggest 30 on their face, especially, and shoulders all the time. But especially when you get into the high category, you can get a sunburn, 8, 9, 10, that very high, in less than about 10 minutes.
All right, so when I look at something like this, Bobby, of course, you kind of mentioned it, I think about sunscreen, but another state, Hawaii in this case, is putting a ban on sunscreen, at least certain kinds, and it's because of some chemicals that can hurt the environment, Bobby. Yeah. So we sent Nightside's Grady Trimble to find out how harmful they actually are.
Try not to let this ruin a beautiful sunset, but the very stuff you use to protect yourself from the sun's harmful rays could be harming the environment. Scientists say these two chemicals in some sunscreens can wash off your skin into the water and kill coral reefs.
The reef thing, I didn't know that. So I feel like it's kind of shocking.
Yep, it's an active ingredient in this.
People at Leid Beach were surprised to find one of the chemicals in their sunscreens.
For the environment, if they want to keep going to nice, pretty reefs, we have to be very careful about that.
Just up the road at Mote Marine Laboratory, Dr. Richard Pierce explains the chemicals are especially concerning for the Florida Keys, where tourists flock to snorkel at the state's largest reef.
But then you have a high concentration of these chemicals in the water, and that's where the damage can begin.
Scientists at Mote's lab in the Keys are studying these chemicals' effects on reefs. The lab is also working with a major sunscreen maker to come up with a way to label how reef-friendly your sunscreen is, so you know what you're putting on when you lather up.
So Grady, I have sunscreen at home. What should I do tonight?
Well, for now, the best thing you can do is read the fine print. That's the ingredients. So this is a more expensive brand of sunscreen, so you wouldn't expect it to have those chemicals in it. It doesn't, and it even says on the front that it doesn't. But this one is just a cheap dollar store or drugstore brand, generic, and it doesn't have the chemicals either. This one I bought today, and then I did this story, and I found out that it does.
All right, so let's say I make the switch and I go to one of these sunscreens that do not have these chemicals. Are they just as effective?
Yeah, I reached out to a dermatologist. He says even if the sunscreens don't have the chemicals in it, it can be just as effective. And he also says that we need to remember, just because they're bad for reefs doesn't mean they're bad for humans. So we can still use these sunscreens. You just might want to think twice about it before wearing it at the beach.
All right, Grady, thank you.
This week on 10 News This Evening, we shared a medical mystery with you. A very rare type of eye cancer is affecting multiple people in the same two cities, meaning the rates in each of these places are much higher than normal. The disease is ocular melanoma, and since we aired that story, hundreds more people say they have also been diagnosed. And Alex, a lot of people wanting to know what ocular melanoma is in the first place, and then also wondering why these people in these particular areas are having such high occurrences of such a rare cancer.
Yeah, Katie, importantly, this is the most dangerous of the eye cancer types. Sadly, many people die from this, and it occurs when the cells that give you the pigment in your eyes mutate and form tumors. So I looked into how rare this is for you. According to the Ocular Melanoma Foundation, the rate is about 5 to 7.5 people per million. So fewer than 3,000 people in the United States suffer from it every year. Notably, people with fair skin, fair or red hair, and blue eyes are most at risk. Now, right now, the causes aren't clear as to what causes this, but researchers do know that it happens when there's an issue with the DNA in the cells in one's eyes. Now, that triggers them to grow and multiply in the body.
So scary, Alex. Thank you for that information. And on Facebook Live tonight, many of you saying there has got to be something in the environment in these places that is causing so many people to get this one very rare type of cancer. Others of you, sadly, you know all about this because this disease has affected your family members. And thank you, by the way, for sharing that information with us tonight. Maxie, you say that's next to impossible to think it could be a coincidence. Ron agrees, environmental factor, got to be. And Jessica, you say you're an ocular melanoma patient, and in a town of 500, you say you're not the only one. San Jose, Illinois is the town you say. I was the fourth diagnosed that I know of from the town. And Madeline, you add, my husband was diagnosed last year right here in Florida. We're so sad to hear that. And Donna, you shared this devastating news. We lost our son to this last year. They took his eye out. We lost him a year later in upstate New York. Now, the 5-year survival rate for ocular melanoma is 80%, but that is only in cases where it has not spread to other organs. Unfortunately, it has spread to the brain of one of the patients who talked to CBS News for this story. Now, the Auburn and the Huntersville ocular melanoma patient groups have both formed Facebook pages, and they're fantastic. You can find those right on our Facebook Live conversation.
Twitter is telling all of its users, all 336 million of them, to change their passwords. And Alex, go figure, this is blowing up on Twitter.
Right, of course. And if this applies to all Twitter users, then it presumably also applies to President Trump, right? The most famous Twitter account out there. This is a big deal. And a lot of people took issue with the way that one higher up at Twitter actually handled this whole situation. This was the company's initial post telling users about a bug that left passwords stored on an internal log. That was followed by a tweet from the company's chief technology officer who said, "We are sharing this information to help people make an informed decision about their account security. We didn't have to, but we believe it's the right thing to do."
I could see why people
a
were
backlash
questioning,
obviously was immediate after that. The CTO responded to that backlash. He said, that's not exactly what I meant to say. What I really meant was that we definitely wanted to make sure that you knew about this information. Just to be clear, Twitter has not said that there's been any indication of a breach or that these passwords have been misused in any way.
But given all of that, it's still a great idea to go ahead and change your password.
Yes, I did.
So Mother's Day is just around the corner, and so many of us are looking to buy flowers, maybe go out to dinner. So what's the first thing that you do? You maybe pull out your cell phone or you go on the computer to look into the companies that you may be using. But are you really sure that the review you're reading is from an actual customer? Well, 10 Investigates Jennifer Titus is reviewing the reviews and showing you how to wean out the fake to get to the real opinion.
Let's see what the actual review is.
It's a click.
One of the reviews it has here was
and a quick scroll.
That's like at least 4 out of 5 stars.
And Alex Andujar has a good idea.
Right here, that was one that we tried for sure.
Whether or not this company
So there was a negative review here.
will get his family's business or not.
Using something like Yelp or Google reviews is pretty useful.
It's something millions of people agree with. But have you ever stopped to think whether or not that person writing that review had ever dealt with that company in the first place? 10 Investigates scrolled through hundreds of reviews for companies right here in the Bay Area, flagging ones whose photos were that of famous celebrities, models, and even a verified mugshot. We reached out to the creator of reviewfraud.org to help us review the reviews.
Unfortunately, consumers need to turn themselves into an investigative journalist or reporter, because here's the thing. There's so much money to be made in the review industry. Harvard says that you're going to more customers with just an increase of a 1-star rating. And so that's it. It's just people want to put their best foot forward.
And that's what has some companies breaking federal law and trading or even buying positive reviews. We found ads on sites like Craigslist, Fiverr, and even Facebook groups.
I say, their fake reviews are in the billions.
Yelp suggests about only 25% of the reviews on their site are fake. When we reached out to Google, they never responded back. So how do you decide which ones are real and which ones are fake? Do a reverse image search on the profile commenting. See if their picture pops up somewhere else. Check whether they commented about 7 different businesses in 7 different states, all for the same thing, like roof repair. You can also check the verbiage to what's written.
They're not going to be like, oh, the ambiance was so great, it's so romantic. This is where they're yanking your chain.
Dry meatballs.
And you can also take advice from Andujar.
Use a lot of word of mouth. People who've lived in the neighborhood or the area before, I'll ask them what a good restaurant is, and that's also how I do my research.
And you were taking some notes right there, right, Carolina?
Of course, I was paying attention to every word.
Yeah,
so.
because there are so many fake reviews out there, and it's really hard to tell. So I'm going to put you to the test to make sure you're watching here. So I got some reviews here.
I'm trying to decide if this is a celebrity.
One's fake and one's real, okay? So we have this one right here. Liz writes, I had my first visit today, and Dr. Schrader was wonderfplus, and his assistant was very personable and kind. I have found my forever dentist. Then we got Mary here. She commented about garage door repair, says, thanks a lot, A+++. One of these is fake.
I'm going with Mary because I'm very short and to the point. The other one seems very...
Wait, so Mary, you think
I think Mary's right. It's a real person.
You're actually wrong. So Mary is fake. Reason here, she had 15 times she commented, and if you click a little deeper like we said to, you'll see that she had 15 different reviews, 15 different states for garage door service. It's like, really, Mary? You got your garage door fixed in 15 different states? So you just have to look in a little deeper into these reviews because it is such a problem right now. And if you really want to keep yourself safe, the Better Business Bureau actually vets every single review that goes onto their website.
All right, great information. Thanks, Jen.
Man, Mary didn't even do a long one. I'm like disappointed. Like if you're going to be, getting paid to do that, you should A+++.
Well, she's got to write like 15 reviews. How much time do you got, Bobby?
All the time in the world. She's sitting at home in her underwear. Just do it. I'm sorry. 89 degrees for a daytime high today. I don't know what she's wearing, but I'm sure she's sitting at home just like, yeah, sure. 94 was the record, but that stayed safe today, so we don't have to worry about that. The average is 85. I think the next couple days we're still going to be above 85. But we'll come down a couple degrees. We had 89 degrees 4 days in a row. But there's a pattern change. One more warm and dry day. That's tomorrow. Late tomorrow evening, if you're out Friday night, you may notice the humidity coming up a little bit. But certainly Saturday, because not only is the humidity coming back in a big time way in the afternoon, but also some showers and perhaps a thunderstorm. And we'll have some showers and storms around on Sunday afternoon as well, too. I know, right? Just in time for the weekend, right? Downtown looking beautiful out there tonight, and it is 76. The wind out of the east at 8 miles per hour, dew point in the low 60s, so it feels comfortable. Wind has not been as breezy as it was the last several days, but still a nice breeze out there. Low 70s, Polk County, Wauchula at 70, 73 in Riverview, 72 in Brooksville and Land O'Lakes right now. There's the last of the breeze coming back towards the coast. 23 mile per hour wind gusts at Sarasota. So yeah, there's still a little bit of wind left over there. There's a little bit of a fire left over there. This is a prescribed burn up near Weeki Wachee. It's west of US 19. But there is going to be more of an easterly wind again tomorrow. So if there's any smoke left over, it'll move off to the north and the west. But then I think it will actually come back late in the day. I'll talk about that coming up. So here's tonight's planner. We're going to fall back down all the way through the upper 60s. That's it. Not a cool night out there. We will drop a little bit, but it'll actually be warmer tomorrow morning than what it has been all week. Tomorrow we'll go about 87 to 90. I think most areas about 87 to 88. Here's a shot from Steve Shug today. And this is that fire that was up there in the Weeki Wachee area. So I want to thank him. This is on our 10 Weather Network Facebook page. You can join that. It's kind of a closed group, but we let everybody in. Just request and I'll let you in there. But if you want to post weather pics, video, this kind of stuff, we love it. And that smoke should not be as thick tomorrow. It's a prescribed burn, but the winds will turn to the northwest in the afternoon. You see that east to north-northwest. And so there may be some lingering smoke that comes back towards Weeki Wachee and the US 19 corridor late in the day. 2 to 3 foot seas, moderate chop on the bay, so it's a little bumpy. Here's the pattern change I was talking about. That big slug of moisture we've been tracking for you gets here Saturday. That is Sunday. And as a result, it's going to give us not only higher humidity here at the surface, but afternoon showers and storms. Dry tomorrow, 50% rain chance Saturday afternoon and evening, 40% on Sunday, and down to about 20 to 30% for Monday and Tuesday. We stay warm next week, and we stay a little bit more humid than what we have been this week.
Now, from your Suncoast Hyundai dealers, this is 10 Sports.
I'm a little somber today because I let Zsa go today.
Okay. Oh man.
You know, you expect your picks to rise to the occasion and be in the moment.
Yep.
Obviously, a complete failure on Zsa.
Yep.
She's a good bird, but when you look back and you see what other birds you had on the board, we had Toucan Sam.
Thanks, Jason Light. Now I'm craving Fruit Loops. I haven't had Fruit Loops in years, man. It's been a long time since I've had those. Zsa was a complete failure. The bird, the biggest bust for the Bucs in quite some time after Saturday's draft debacle. What a flop. Yeah, it was good. I like that. It's a good imitation. You caught me off guard there. Despite the parrot problems, Jason Leid, well, he has to be shaking his tail feather with what he added this offseason on the defensive line. Look at this pair of defenders that's come in here. These two in the draft as well. Levante David, Donovan Smith, they like the new additions.
Everything looks good on paper, but we just got to put it all together. Get the rookies in, the new draft class in, the guys who's going to help us in a big way, I feel like. So once those guys get in and we put it all together, things should be on the up and up.
From top to bottom, Vinny Curry, Noah Spence, Vita Vea, freaking Bo Allen, Gerald McCoy, it's like the Monstars over there. So, it's really just going to make us compete and be better.
For the record, the Monstars lost to Michael Jordan, if anyone remembers that. The defense better be, because they're going to go up against Falcons QB Matt Ryan for quite some time. He became a lot richer today. How much richer? Well, how about a $150 million extension with $100 million of that guaranteed? Guaranteed. He's going to make $30 million a year starting in 2019. That, my friends, would be $27 million more than Andre Vasilevsky made this season. Just saying. Paycheck aside, though, Vasi has been money in this series. And the Lightning, boy, they get a gold star for the way they played last night in Game 3, dominating Boston to end up tilting this series in their favor. And look, they've got a chance, guys, to really put Boston on the brink. But John Cooper said today the Bolts cannot exhale a win tomorrow, and they would force elimination possibly in Game 5. The guys skated today in Boston, trying to stay focused, loose, knowing Game 4 is going to be quite a battle.
We came in here wanting to get at least one game, do exactly what they did in our building, so we were able to accomplish that. But we have to expect that we're going to get their best game, and obviously they're a very good team for a reason. They've responded to these situations probably all year, and we just have to elevate our game.
But the onus is on us. It's not back against the wall time, but this should be interesting how it goes. I would expect those first 5-10 minutes to be a war.
We'll see how it goes. Game 4 coming up tomorrow. That's a 7 o'clock start from TD Garden. The series then shifts back here to the Bay for Game 5. Bolts win tomorrow. They will have a chance to close it out at home. Game 6 and 7 are, if necessary, that would be next Tuesday and Thursday. Well, Caps had a chance to push Pittsburgh to the brink of elimination, but the Pens responded. This belly flop shot from Evgeny Malkin, it was the difference. Originally called a no goal, but check it out. Look at that. The puck clearly crossing the crease. Pens, they even up the series with a 3-1 win.
I've been waiting to tell the story all day. Okay, so summer is right around the corner, and the internet is tearing one of the season's new fashion trends to shreds. Yeah, well, maybe the designer beat the internet to it. These are the extreme cutout jeans by LA-based designer Harmar. The designer describes them as relaxed fit, high-rise jeans with quote, large statement cutouts on the front and the back. Now, as you can imagine, social media is ripping on these jeans.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, Lorraine tweeted, "Surely there are cheaper ways to look like an idiot. How about if this is fashion now, I'm vacating the planet."
Oh.
Alistair captioned it, "When you want to go to the beach, but denim is life."
Yeah, exactly.
Tamiko is not a believer. No, those aren't jeans. Those are pockets with a denim belt and ankle cuffs.
That's true.
$168.
I think they look cool. I will be, everyone's going to think I'm crazy. I actually think they look cool.
Watch tomorrow to find out if we're wearing them. Oh, good night.
Okay.